live tonight and going to talk a little baseball. So, boy, we're inching up every day closer and closer to opening day. So that's going to be pretty exciting as we kick the baseball season off for 2026. Yeah, you never know what surprises await you. So there's always going to be some young superstar that we're going to be following. And so anyway, we're going to talk about some old superstars tonight. So guys, if you've been following me, you know the drill. The drill is if you like what I'm doing here, by all means subscribe, and that you just have to push that button to subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, but it will alert you to when I come back on and do the broadcast live. And also, if you really like what I'm doing and you want to share it, by all means, share the broadcast. There's lots of people who enjoy good, wholesome conversation, engaging conversation related to sports on the social media world. But there's a lot of foolishness out there, and trying to find something with some relevance to it can be a job sometimes. So, anyway, guys, I do want to encourage you to share and subscribe. And then, I know everybody can't stay on here for the whole length of the time that I'm on, but if you can stay on just as long as you can, that'll be great. All right. So I know people get busy with life, and so we'll try to have some fun here. Okay. So also, I want to apologize. Yesterday, I had a trivia question, and I asked who were the all left-handed outfielders for the 1923 Monarchs, and I probably jumped the gun and didn't do my research real good, and I got tricked. I tricked my own self, right? So I said that it was Wade Johnston, who was left-handed, and Hurley McNair. Then I threw in Heavy Johnson, but Heavy Johnson was a right-hander. And so what I did was I looked at this picture I have right here really quick, and this is a picture. I've never released this one, and this one is the Monarchs outfield from 1923, and they're standing down at the old Milbach Stadium, and Hurley McNair, and I've done a lot to promote Hurley McNair over the years. I actually knew he didn't have any children, but the son that it was like his nephew, and so he kind of raised that son, and that son was able to come to Kansas City many years ago, had heard about me, and wanted to make sure that we kept Hurley's legacy alive, and then also his aunt's legacy alive too. So if you go back and look at my book, the Negro Baseball Leagues of Photographic History, you will see pictures of Hurley McNair. So this was the picture that prompted me to give you the bad information last night. So once again, I want to thank Bob Poet. He caught that one. I appreciate that, Bob. You guys are keeping me sharp. So I will never make that mistake on Hurley McNair again. And I've been to Hurley McNair's hometown, and I've probably presented there 3 or 4 times in Atchison, Kansas. And I used to go there and I let him know that not Hurley McNair, but Oscar Johnson was the greatest thing to come from Atchison, Kansas, other than Amelia Earhart. Yeah, she was from there as well. So, all right, guys. So now remember, if you follow me, guys, I talk about this day in Black baseball history, but I may give you some information that goes way beyond. Like, first, I just mentioned Amelia Earhart. So now you know where she's from, Atchison, Kansas, right? You probably didn't think about that before. So that's the kind of information that I'm always shooting that are surrounding the baseball information. And then I've traveled extensively, so a lot of places I go, I'm able to give more than just baseball information. I give people local history, and I give it to them in a way that they've probably not seen before. And I will tell you this, man, I've spoke over the years many places, and can you imagine, just imagine this, guys. I think at my last count, I had over 50 standing ovations. Just imagine, how do you get a standing ovation by a baseball talk? Well, I tell you what, I've been able to pull it off in different places. And so my live is completely different than what I'm doing here. So anyway, guys, I want to go right into my This Day in Black Baseball History, because I try to keep it to 20 minutes. But man, it's been a challenge here lately. And so we're going to just jump back in. So let's go to, we're going to go to March 9th, 1885. And by the way, this is my March 9th, 2026 edition of This Day in Black Baseball History. Okay, so here we go. March 9th, 1885. All right. And the Wheeling Sunday Register announced that Saul White, the colored baseball player of Bel Air, Ohio, and one of the best players here, that's now the newspaper wrote that in 1885, has signed with the Fort Wayne Club for the season of 1890 1885, right? So that is Saul White. And Saul White is now a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he's certainly a great manager. I happen to think, in my estimation, he was a better manager than John McGraw or Connie Mack, who were pretty prominent during the turn of the century when he was managing. Of course, Saul White was managing the Philadelphia Giants. And he had less to work with, but he won an awful lot. So he was a brilliant manager. He ended up springing the careers of people like Ruth Foster, who people consider one of the most brilliant managers that ever lived. Well, he played under Saul White for a number of years. You think he didn't learn something from Saul White? Well, I'm sure that he did. So anyway, Saul White did finish the season there. He batted 385 while playing for Fort Wayne, as I just said, and the team was part of the Western Interstate League, right? All right, let's go to March 9th, 1905. And this is another report from a newspaper. The York, Pennsylvania Dispatch newspaper announced that another crack team will be in the field this season, and it will be known as the Brooklyn Royal Giants of New York. And Bill Smith, formerly of the Cuban X Giants, had been enjoined to be manager and captain of that team. And they said Bill has gotten a cracker jack team together. He had a nice team, and that team they ended up playing Saul White's Giants about 12 times. We don't have all the box scores. I think I figured up about 12 times they played each other in 1905. And guess whose team won the series? Saul White's Philadelphia Giants. They didn't lose a game. Okay, how about that? They tore up the Brooklyn Royal Giants, but the Brooklyn Royal Giants were a good team. Now that year, 1905, they looked pretty good. But the next year, how about this? They got rid of their manager and they got Grant Homer and Johnson, who had been playing for the Philadelphia Giants in 1905. He went over to the Brooklyn Royal Giants and he made that team even stronger. So the Brooklyn Royal Giants and some teams around baseball, Major League Baseball, have had these turn back the clock days and they wear the Negro Leagues uniform. And they have worn the Brooklyn Royal Giants uniform. Yeah, you can go online, you can find that. Maybe I'll find a picture and post that when I come back, all right? All right, so let's go to another one here. March 9th, 1920, Barney, and nicknamed Bonnie Surreal, was born on this date in Natchez, Louisiana. And he grew up in Dallas, Texas. And how about this one? I picked him up when he was with the Monarchs' second team in 1938-39. And he turned out to be a really good infielder. Came up to the regular team and played shortstop. And when Jackie Robinson came to the Monarchs in 1945, they made Barney Sorrell go over to first and second base, especially first base, because they wanted to put Jackie Robinson in the lineup. And guess what? Jackie Robinson couldn't beat Barney Sorrell playing. And Barney Sorrell was just a great player. And he has a son that lives here in Kansas City, Kansas. And I've seen him on several occasions and gone to events. I know some people who are kin to him. And so he's come out several times. And I think he's probably 70 something, 70 plus, maybe close to 80 now. But yeah, he's around Kansas City. And so you'd be surprised who you will see around places like Kansas City. And for me, just going around, I've met all kinds of people. But yeah, he does definitely have a son here. Now, Barney died in 1996, August the 1st. And so we lost him, but he was a great player. Somebody says, hey, man, keep up the good work. All right, certainly appreciate that. Now, where are you listening from? Be sure and drop that in there. Now, guys, remember, if you like what I'm doing and you haven't subscribed yet, it doesn't cost anything. Just go ahead and subscribe. And we're trying to keep this network growing. I am at 660 subscribers, and I'm trying to get to 700 before the month ends, and 700 plus. How about that? We'll just push it over, right? So your guys have really supported me very well, and hopefully we'll keep it going. And if you like this information, we'll just keep bringing it to you. Say, do you know baseball? Anybody I know? I'm not sure your question. Kind of rephrase that and let me know, okay? And let's see, this is Carmine. Do you know baseball? Anybody I know? Okay, that's Pastor Woods there, Carmine Woods. Hey, Pastor, I appreciate you joining here. We're just talking a little baseball. We're just talking about Barney Surreal. who had a son that lives here. Correction. Said, you know baseball more than anybody that I know. Okay. Well, I tell you what, I have certainly enjoyed baseball. And ever since the first time I saw a kid hit the ball, I said, man, I want to do that. And so my heroes were the baseball players that were in my community. That's what really got me to know. And uh, I really enjoy the game. So let me keep it going. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to throw a trivia question in here for you, okay? So March 9th, 1951, the National League Cubs signed Arkansas-born switch hitter, an outfielder by the name of Solomon Solly Drake, a former HBCU baseball player from Philander Smith College. He played football and baseball. He was a standout there, and they signed him in the amateur free draft. All right, and that was in 1951. Now he was also a Korean War veteran, so he has seen action in the Korean War. So here's what I want you to do. He went to an HBCU, and I want you to name four players, and I'm going to tell you the four players' names. I want you to tell me which one of these players did not attend an HBCU. Are you ready? Okay, here's the four players. It's Al Oliver. You probably remember him. Al's still around. Great second baseman with the Pirates. Great second baseman. Should be getting more serious consideration for the Hall of Fame, which he's not, but he should be. Okay, and the other one was Lou Johnson. I don't know if you remember, Sweet Lou Johnson played for the Dodgers in the 1960s. Had a chance to meet Lou and had a conversation with him. I had a chance to meet Al Oliver too. Okay, and then we're gonna go. There was a guy played outfield. He played for Montreal, played for Milwaukee. His name was Mac Jones. I don't know if you remember Mac Jones, Big Mac Jones. And I'll give you one more, Fred Valentine. Okay, so out of those four players, which one did not attend an HBCU? All right, are you guys thinking about that? So it's Al Oliver, Lou Johnson, who was the other? Mac Jones and Fred Valentine. All these guys played during the 60s. So in case you don't remember any of them, maybe you have to get a break. How about this? You have to go search it online if you don't have one of those big baseball encyclopedias like I have, all right? So guys, I'm going to go ahead and give you the answer. Okay, I don't know if you figured it out. All right, so the player that did not attend an HBCU was Al Oliver. He attended Kent State. Yeah, somebody said Mac Jones. Okay, that was a good guess, but no, it was Al Oliver. Al Oliver attended Kent State. Now, Lou Johnson, he went to Kentucky State. I know people who went to Kentucky State. And Mac Jones, he went to Morris Brown. And Morris Brown's HBCU, about AME HBCU down there, started that. And Fred Valentine went to Tennessee A&I, which became Tennessee State in 1971. So if you look before then, you see Tennessee A&I, and it is the current Tennessee State. Also, George Altman. I don't know if you remember George Altman, played for the Cubs, and also hit a few home runs in Japan. He was an HBCU grad from Tennessee State, which was, again, Tennessee A&I. All right, so hopefully that didn't throw you guys off too much. Now, how about this? Has any player from the National or American League born in Puerto Rico, Mexico, Cuba, or the Dominican Republic ever attended an HBCU college? Okay, think about that one for a minute. Now, this is a trivia question. You don't think about it. Somebody said Mac Jones attended the University of Alabama, right? Okay, all right. So now he was at Morris Brown too. So okay, now here's one. Can you think about this one? Has any MLB player born in Puerto Rico, Mexico, Cuba, or the Dominican Republic ever attended an HBCU college? All right, I'm going to give you the answer to this one. One of the most notable major league players, right, was Minnie Minoso. Minnie Minoso, the first black Cuban in the major leagues, although he did not attend as a traditional student, after his playing days, he famously returned to college in 1980 to fulfill a promise he made to his mother, and he graduated from Bethune-Cookman University. Did you know that? Yeah, hey, well, we're dropping some wisdom tonight, all right? So, all right, we got to keep it going. I just have a couple of more. March 7th, 1987, National League Cubs acquire Andre Dawson as a free agent. Now, Dawson would lead the league with 49 home runs and 137 RBIs. Now, Dawson, known as the Hawk. I don't know if I never had a chance to meet Andre Dawson. I met a lot of guys, but not Dawson. But he holds one of the very most unique records in baseball history. In 1987, he became the first player ever to win the MVP while playing for a last place team. Now that's a feat there. So you're good, but the rest of the team is bad. Okay. And let's see, the Cubs finished 1987 with a 76-85 record, placing them at the bottom of the National League East Division. Right. Now keep in mind, this was a great player. He's in the Hall of Fame. He is one of only 5 players in Major League history to achieve at least 400 home runs, 300 stolen bases in a career. So he joins the ranks of Willie Mays, Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, and Carlos Beltran. I saw Carlos play quite a bit when he was with Kansas City. So yeah, he was a great player. Kansas City made the mistake of trading him, and he went all over the place, and he just turned out to be a great ball player. So, but I never saw Barry Bonds play. I wish I could have seen him play, not in person. And I never saw Willie Mays play either because we were American League town here in Kansas City. So didn't get a chance to see a lot of those guys who were strictly National League in the way that they did American League, didn't play the National League during the regular season back in the day, right? So anyway, yeah. Now, guess what? I can tell you in the Negro Leagues, just in a career, you have people like Pete Hill probably did this, no doubt in my mind. Bullet Rogan, a pitcher, probably did that. On top of it, he probably won 400 games on top of it. If you count what they did in the league and what they did outside the league, because in the Negro baseball, it wasn't just all about playing league games. It was about making money. So you had to play a lot of these uh, minor league teams, town teams, and that's how they made their money. Otherwise, without that, there wouldn't have been a league because the teams would have went out of business. They couldn't meet those payrolls. So those games are very important, and historians have now thrown those games in the trash. But believe me, I'm getting them out of the trash and presenting those numbers to you in some of my books. All right. So let's go. I've got 2 more. So I'm trying to wrap it up, guys. I've got 17 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can get out here as close as I can. All right. So March 9th, 1988, and I did see this guy play. So the American League A signed free agent Tony Phillips. And Tony led the American League with 114 runs scored in 1991 and walks with 132 in 1993 with the American League Tigers. So, and how about this? He is one of only a few players. This was a versatile guy to start at least 10 games at 5 different positions in a single season. Right? The guys just don't do that anymore. And so Tony Phillips was that guy. And of course, we lost him suddenly. And his cause of death was a heart attack. And he was 56 years old at the time of his passing. And that was in February 17th, 2016. And so I had a chance to meet some of these guys. And of course, I saw him play. And most of you know, if you follow me, you know that I was at one time assistant director of public relations for the Kansas City Royals. So I was in the clubhouse all the time talking to ball players. And I can't remember if I talked to Phillips. I talked to so many people. I talked to everybody who wanted to talk baseball. And so anyway, Tony Phillips was just a great player. Let's see, somebody's got one question. I'm not, I can't follow that question. So see if you can rephrase that, and then maybe I'll try to pick it up. Okay. All right. So I've got one more. And this one is March 9th, 1989. The Los Angeles Angels, American League Angels, traded for Clifford Raphael Young. Of course, Raphael passed away early also in November 1993 at the age of 29 in a car accident. So, guys, I try to remember some of these players and keep their legacy going. And that is kind of what I do. And as I close tonight, I do want to close with a quote from Satchel Paige. How about that? And this is one of the reasons why I do what I do for you. All right. And so Satchel says, I don't like to remember with bitterness. Yeah. He said, I try to remember their greatness, for they were truly great. And that is the reason why I talk about so many of these ball players that you typically don't hear their names mentioned at all anymore. And there are so many more. And that's why I encourage you to subscribe and then come back night after night. And we'll mention other people that typically, oh, just put it this way, they don't get in the normal baseball conversation unless there's a specific reason. And I find a reason to mention them all the time. So this has been another edition of This Day in Black Baseball History, guys. Thank you for engaging in the trivia uh, with me tonight. And thank you for accepting my apology for leading you wrong on Oscar Heavy Johnson being a left-hander when he was a right-hander. And certainly want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. And I will be back again. This daylight saving time is kind of crazy. I'm just trying to get adjusted. I don't know about you, but get adjusted to what's going on here. So, but anyway, if you like what I'm doing, guys, go ahead and subscribe and just share the broadcast. People don't know the broadcast is out here unless we share. Now, there's a lot of folk out here talking about the Negro Leagues, but you're listening to someone who has actually lived this history. And I've done it for, this would be my 46th year. Started at the age of 23 years old pursuing the Negro League. And that's after many years of learning about baseball, the baseball that they fed us. That was basically the American National League, and nobody else mattered. So I knew that history as well. But I've made this history relevant through my efforts. And I'm still got a lot of work to do and a lot of speeches to give and a lot of conversation to have. So thank you for joining me tonight. I will see you tomorrow. And if you can't catch the broadcast live, just go back and catch it, catch it later on at your convenience. And just know this, right now, my broadcasts on YouTube are commercial free. All right, so you don't have to skip ahead and all that. You can just listen to the broadcast. And so I'm going to get out here at 22 minutes, 23 minutes tonight. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I had to come out tonight sporting my Chicago American Giants uniform. I don't know why. I didn't have a Chicago American Giants question here, but I'll have one tomorrow. All right. So thank you, guys. You have a nice evening. This has been Phil Dixon, and this has been my March 9th, 2026 edition of This Day in Black Baseball History.